So what is the best build for Warlock for solo flawless Warlord's Ruin? There is no such thing as the best build, but that's what you typed into Google or YouTube. So here you are. This is the build I used. Dim links at the bottom in the description. Talk about the first build. Well of Radiance. We have Sun Bracers. For those who don't know, you get a punch kill, and then you have 5 seconds where you're able to spam your solar grenade. So how this build works, and again, this is used for first boss, second boss, and third boss. I changed up the weapons on the third boss, but how the core of the build works. Most people know this, but for those that don't, Sun Bracers, melee kill, gets you 5 seconds of unlimited grenade throwing, which is great. However, to use it effectively in a solo flawless, you need to stay alive. To stay alive, you need restoration, because on a solar subclass, you don't have restoration, or you're probably dead. So a lot of people use Icarus Dash when they're playing Warlock, because Icarus Dash, great for mobility, super fun. However, we do sacrifice Icarus Dash here for just Touch of Flame. So solar grenades do extra damage and they stay around longer. And then most importantly, Heat Rises. Heat Rises is not only an aspect, but it's also a buff. So if Heat Rises is slotted in as an aspect, anytime you're in the air and get a kill, you'll get melee energy back, like right away. So I call this build Always Be Hoppin', because any kills while in the air, your melee comes back super fast. And without having a melee, the build really breaks down. So what you have to do is consume a grenade so that Heat Rises goes from passive, I guess, to active. And then once it's active and you have like a 20-second, 30-second countdown, you then need to Phoenix Dive. Phoenix Diving, while Heat Rises is active and not passive, will grant you 4 seconds of restoration as long as Solace is applied. If Solace is not on, the restoration from Phoenix Dive is super short and it's not very helpful. With Solace on and Empyrean, which extends any radiant restoration with solar kills, abilities, or weapons, that lets you consume the grenade, dive, get restoration, and then extend it by getting kills. What I ended up doing was starting that loop without getting Sun Bracers procced, without getting a melee kill, usually, because it just felt more safe to try to get my weapon to get the kill. And then once I was settled and restoration was like at 12 seconds, then I'd look at the battlefield and say, okay, now's a good time to snap, proc Sun Bracers, and start tossing grenades. So for an example of how this build works, here's on my clear on attempt 5, starting the first boss encounter. Consume grenade, get Heat Rises, Phoenix Dive there, 4 seconds of restoration, use my Callus Mini tool to get the restoration going. Now we're times 2, times 12. This is times 2 restoration, so much better than the other, than times 1 restoration. Kills with these eyes with a solar weapon also are extending restoration. There we're at 12 seconds. Here I come down, I snap, and then I spam the grenade, just trying to kill anything around me, so I'm super safe. Plus, I'm times 2 restoration. See, I'm always hopping, always be hopping. Every time a solar grenade gets a kill there, I'm in the air, my melee is already back. So I'm capturing the second plate, gonna go and drop my well. Gonna try to get Dragon's Breath out. Hopefully I get a snap kill, and then I can spam my grenades. The flame aspect, touch of flame aspect on the solar grenades, doing extra damage to him because of the lava that shoots out. Plus Dragon's Breath is on him, staggering him, auto reloads. There's one phase of damage for the, as an example, for the first boss. Yeah, that covers everything. Did it cover everything? It covers everything. Okay. Other fragments, resolve. Anytime a solar grenade kills, it cure me, survivability. And then singeing is pretty important because any scorch will make my Phoenix Dive come back pretty fast. Inevitably, you do lose restoration, and so you want to restart your loop again, and you want your melee ready. Because a lot of times what happens when you lose your restoration, if you have singeing on, you'll have your Phoenix Dive back, but you won't have your grenade. Invariably, you'll throw your grenade and you'll just be grenadeless. So how do you start the loop again if you only have Phoenix Dive and Snap? You have to snap first now. Snapping, getting a kill, procs, Stun Bracers. You consume that first grenade, then you Phoenix Dive, then you get a kill right away, usually by tossing more nades. Don't keep tossing your nades when Stun Bracers run out, because you're going to want to finish getting restoration up while having full grenade. So if you throw too many grenades, your grenade's out, your snap's back. Don't throw too many grenades. Always have your grenade ready, just in case, because you need to consume it to get heat rises. But invariably you do lose. Okay, that's first boss. We kill first boss, and then I switched to this. Oh, this also had this is my Traversal build. This also had Dawnblade instead of Well of Radiance. So
Nice.
So for this section right here, I pop Dawnblade with Restoration, and then I just kind of skip this section with Dawnblade. Make it trivialize it a little bit. Skip ahead to final boss. Or sorry, second boss. Second boss. We kept everything the same except, yeah, I guess I switched the primary from Callous Mini Tool to Zali's Bane, which I use for the rest of the fight. Zali's Bane, just solo primary, I think will work here no matter what. Sometimes I feel like if your solo primary is too effective this season, there's a lot of Scorch, a lot of solar abilities. It ends up actually, if you kill ads too fast, you don't get a chance to extend restoration. So it can be kind of annoying to kill stuff too fast with your primary. You actually want to kill stuff kind of slowly so you can like do mechanics, keep restoration going. But this build, Dragon's Breath for damage with, of course, proccing Sun Bracers as an example of killing the, what is that double click? Double clicked again. Example of killing the scoring guy that spawns. I like to stand here, throw the grenade sometimes, and just hand cannon. But even that's too effective sometimes, because I got lucky there. But the solar grenade with the ignitions that come, the lava blobs that come out will stagger him, and it'll keep him from dropping his first totem. And you want to make sure he drops that totem before you kill him, so you can capture 2 plates and only have to do the cycle twice. Capturing 4 plates, a little too advanced for me. But usually there I would just use my fusion rifle, which is a scatter signal, and that would be enough to murder him. And I wouldn't use any abilities because I wanted to make sure I had all my abilities up to get restoration going, because usually during this part I lose restoration. Yep, consume grenade, dive. There we go. Get kills. Restoration is going, so we're tossing some grenades there, clearing that. I'll probably pick up, yep, there, and we have 12 seconds restoration. Sometimes I would drop the ball here, get another kill, keep restoration times 2 going. As you can see, I'm virtually unkillable. Kill some eyes to start with, get that restoration back up. Here, I want to murder all these yellow bars, so I'll snap, throw some grenades on these guys just to clear out the path so I can dunk the second ball. Number 1 rule here is do not double jump on a Warlock in this. Only single jump. Only ever single jump here. Only ever single jump. I'll skip ahead for damage phase. And then we'll talk about it. Here's damage right here. I'm going to pause before we do this. Show your artifact. I mean, the artifact's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, Solar Operative giving you 15%. Blast Radius, I guess, is helpful. I guess, yeah, if Dragon's Breath is accidentally killing stuff, as it's on the boss, it'll get me charged for some surges. But those aren't really super important. Radiant causes solar weapons to apply Scorched. I'm already using Incandescent, not super important. You may not be, though. Rapid solar weapon kills give and precision give Radiant. I already have I think I have the punch be radiant thing on. Whence you came, 4 more damage to taken and scorn. Spawn extra orbs when my super's full. Solar precision final blows cause enemies to ignite. This one I kind of wanted to turn off because it was too effective. And revitalizing blast. Revitalizing blast is, these two are probably the only two you really need. So throwing my solar grenades on the boss or snapping the boss weakens them by like 5%. And that's huge. All right, so boss damage. You go in first, you drop your well, you get a punch kill, you throw some nades, you shoot your Dragon's Breath, you switch to your scatter signal, it's fusion, and ideally here I would Phoenix Dive. So Slice would apply, which applies Sever to the boss, which reduces boss output damage by 45%, so you're super unkillable. I'm just so unkillable on Warlock, it didn't matter. On Hunter, it mattered. Warlock didn't really matter. Taking spec, of course. And controlled burst for extra damage. So what you have to do, this is a little tricky. I don't have the catalyst yet for Dragon's Breath, but what you have to do is you have to listen really closely. You have to listen really hard because there's explosions, there's enemies, there's music. You have to listen for the click of the auto load of Dragon's Breath because it's not consistent. I don't know when it's going to happen, but you got to listen for it. You got to just you hear like, oh, I guess it is consistent if it refills from gaining maximum fuel. Igniting nearby targets. Oh no, that's why it's inconsistent, because igniting targets will replenish the fuel faster. And so sometimes my Dragon's Breath would be getting ad kills as it was on the boss, and it would reload super fast. So I just had to really listen to hear when the Dragon's Breath reloaded so I could reapply it. So there we go. Here I should have punched first. That was a mistake. That was a mistake because I didn't get. Yeah. Oh, actually, I got a kill there. So some bracers was procced accidentally. But this is the first time. Was that the first time I ever did damage? No, I did damage to the boss before, didn't I?
No, Dragon's Breath, you killed too much.
All right, so the lantern's over. I'm gonna run diagonally to the next one, but I'm gonna want to. See, I did that. I think I did that wrong too. I should have consumed that grenade to get heat rises.
Get out of here! Get out of here! Get out of here!
And then punched killed, and then grenade killed, and then threw a grenade, and that way I'd have my loot back. Right now I'm actually restorationless, but it doesn't really matter because we're cooking, baby. Now we have our melee up. We're gonna kill these ads over here. A little melee action. I'm waiting. There we go. We got the kill. I should have thrown one grenade into those scorn there to get my melee back faster. It didn't really matter. But now I don't have a melee for a little bit, and that's kind of cringe. I may turn around and kill these guys first. No, I don't. I just leave. Okay. Yeah, see, I need a kill right here to get my punch back. I may have enough time to get it, but we have our super back now. Rapid fire fusions are super good at giving your super back. Okay, we did get our punch back. Then we're gonna snap. And now the revitalizing blast is proc. That's why everything is crit numbers. And I heard Dragon's Breath reload, so we're gonna apply it again and then shoot. Every ignition from Dragon's Breath is staggering him, keeping him away from turning off this lantern. So that's one damage phase. About 60% damage, which is pretty cooking.
There's ads over here.
Pretty cooking. Oops, wrong button. So that's second boss and the build. Third, so that was the first time I ever killed the boss with Warlock. We then switched back to, it's called Strand, it's funny. Switched back to this build for getting to the third boss. Just, I would consume my grenade in that taking ball rock spinny section and played it safe, and it worked out pretty well. Oh, remember, this is also Dawnblade, not well. So, third and final build. We made it to the boss around 50 minutes, and then we stalled, and we talked, and I took a break, and 30 minutes later we talked. I started this build out with Izanagi's Burden to one-shot the yellow bar Scorn that would spawn, but it ended up not being the way. Mid-fight, I switched to Wither Horde for this build on final boss, and It seems like damage over time just works better in this fight with Solar Warlock for using Sun Bracers. And yeah. So I could like lay down some Wither Horde, but you got to remember not to kill stuff too fast without Solar because you want that restoration to continue. But here we don't use Dragon's Breath. We switch to this Envious Assassin Surrounded GL, which is what I used for the final boss on my Hunter. It just cooks. Like, it's just nutty damage. You can have like 20 shots in the mag. You're in a well. You're chilling. Like, it's so free. Let me see if I can find a good damage phase for us to watch. I think the second floor was a decent phase. Yeah, let's watch from here. So I would punch, throw a bunch of solar grenades on the yellow bar Scorn, both of them, and then sometimes cap 2, sometimes cap all 4 totems, which is all 20 seconds of time per floor. Let me absolutely just dumpster on the boss. So yeah, let's watch that. Why double click? There it is. Spawn at. So there's the guy spawning up. I got 2 nades on him. He probably dies with only dropping. Yeah, I kill him too fast. Sag. So this is only a 3-plater. I think I had a 4-plate in there somewhere. Here I almost die with restoration times 2, which is nuts. I barely got that punch off. Could have died there. There we capped 3 plates. We're going to drop well. We got the snap off. Now we can toss grenades on the boss. Multiple grenades already out. And by that time, I can go in and start shooting my super GL. The GL starts with how many shots in it? Let's see it again. We get the snap kill. Throw the grenades. We start with only 13. I didn't switch to it enough. I should have switched to it more. But there's the cook. Doing, looks like 100 damage. 100,000 damage per shot. That was not a great damage phase, but again, we 2-phased the boss pretty well. Skip ahead to see if I had another good damage phase. That one was pretty good. Let's watch this one on the first floor.
No ads?
No, this one sucked. I had no ads up. Yeah, that one wasn't great. So I was late on those grenades. I mean, still, it's at least 1.5 million damage. Let's see the final.
Hold on.
I think this one was good. Oh, this one wiped the first time. And then this should be it. I think this is it. Did I not cap? No, I think this is where I... Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay, here we go. Pop well. Punch. Grenade. Wither Horde. Grenade. Yeah, I should have put Wither Horde on, of course. Yeah, that's some good damage right there. He gets out of the grenades, though. Solar grenades, but yeah. This is react video, not build it. It's a build / how I did the solo flawless. It's like a guide video as well. So we talk about the builds and we talk about how to use the builds, because just having the build doesn't get you anywhere. How to use the build is also important. So I also, when I would clear the boss on a floor, I would switch to this build. And it just switched it up to be Strand Reserves and Strand Scavenger to get my GL back to 23 more quickly. But I would only do that when it was safe, because obviously no resist mods. Most OP build ever, emotional. Why do you do 100 strength instead of discipline? Because I don't have any strength armor. Building for strength sucks on Warlock, because mostly you want discipline except for this one build. So yeah, yeah. Focus strength. True. Good point. Don't focus discipline. Focus strength. You always want strength. Strength. After resilience, of course. Okay, that's the end of the build video. You don't need strength for this build. He rises, carries. Great point. Honestly, the build, the only thing you need is resilience. Everything else, your class ability comes back from singeing, scorching targets. Your melee comes back from always be hopping kills in the air. Your grenade comes back from getting a punch kill. Yeah. You don't need stats. You don't need stats. All right. That's the build / how to do the Warlord's Ruin solo flawless on Warlock video.